that suggests I'm out of the box. Here's what I've noticed. When I'm in the box, I don't want to do that.
Yeah,
I don't.
You actually dehumanize the person.
I dehumanize so I can self-justify.
There you go.
And stay in my box. And it's really profound to think how easy and often I'm able to fluctuate back and forth. So today's episode is how do we sustain and live
a lifestyle,
staying out of the box. And is it even possible? There's a perfect example. I get to evaluate and then execute on that idea. Act on it. Act on it. Imagine a culture where everybody is behaving for the good of others in their tribe, in their organization, in their group, in their class, in their church. I think it champions us to the highest level, and I think we approach what Jesus was talking about when he talked about us being one body.
So imagine life without the whiplash of diving into your box, climbing out, diving back in, climbing out. With God, all things are possible. And I want to suggest to you that it's possible to live in a way that we're invulnerable to the kind of self-deception that we're talking about here.
What a challenge.
That'd be amazing.
You just begin to dream like
it
sounds unreal, like it's impossible. And yet the come from of this whole episode is the practice of staying out of the box when we find ourselves in the box.
Sounds pretty relieving.
Yeah, it's exhausting. Trying to remain in the box with people we interact with every day. And it compromises all the potential for what could be if we were out of the box with that very individual.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
It feels to me like maybe even some of I will say, our team is spectacularly good at this. That's my experience being on the team for a little over 2 years. Never experienced anything like it. Previous positions that I have held, some of my worst days at work had very little to do with what I was tasked or not tasked with doing.
Right.
The days that I came home and felt like I was ready to just sit down in front of the TV and veg out because my mind was done are days...
Or kill someone.
That was the more positive choice that I chose to go with.
Right.
There were other options on the table, but the best of my worst options.
We go with it.
The best of my worst options was disengaging from life completely. You know, and those days I would say would be marked by thinking through the lens of the conversation we have been having. The days when everyone, according to me at the time, was doing the wrong thing and I was doing the right thing and had to hold this together and that and do this and do that. And gosh, it feels like probably the worst days that I've experienced vocationally were just the days that I was in the box towards everyone.
That's right.
Wow.
So I'd love to not have the worst days that I've had.
Yeah. It's fascinating that a lot of the struggle in churches isn't over doctrine, and it's not even over structure. Those can be, but more often than not, I would say on merit, the predominant struggle is the interactions with each other, the interpersonal. And we think this is a golden ticket to breaking free from the exhaustion and the pain and the suffering of other people and what we bring to cause other people to suffer.
It's so freaking discouraging. I mean, here we are, a Christian community. We're trying to follow Jesus. We're wanting to honor Jesus. And yet we're in relationship with such, pitifully aggravating people. Right? And my gosh.
Kurt, don't say that. It's too real.
Let me tell you about how aggravating you are. And by the way, how virtuous I am. Right? And here I am.
That's it.
In my cardboard box. Right? Like I've got to
thank God for my shining example.
And the joke preachers say all the time that we're just going to expose is the joke of I love ministry. It's
There's
people, I can't stand.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man.
I said, yeah, the only problem with Christianity is Christians.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, Jesus is great.
The problem with church is people. Jesus is fabulous. God, I love.
This is
He's good.
Yeah.
This
It's
is Church Hurt 101.
It's you that makes it so hard, you know?
This is Church Hurt 101 we're talking about.
Yeah, so let's talk about what we're learning from our own interactions, from our own journey about attempts we've made, practices we've brought into our lives as coping ways for us to stay out of the box. Anybody got an idea of one way that you're learning to create a more rapid response of, oh, I'm triggered, I have a tendency here, and I don't want that to be my way of being. I don't want to be at war with another person because that disturbs them, it disturbs me, it disturbs the church, the kingdom. So what's a practice or a method, a way of staying out of the box for any of us?
One of the sensitivities that I have is the human propensity to attach meaning to events or experiences in life. And I'll attach a meaning that so supersedes the event itself that it's this meaning that I've made up and applied. You know, John's behaving that way because he doesn't like me. John he's done with me. Well, actually, no. John pulled your back, and your back's killing you, and it's really hard for you to even in this moment to be here filming this episode because your back's killing you.
Totally separate from the assumptions you made about it.
Right, but I don't know about your back, so I'm attaching a meaning. I'm deciding you're upset with me for some reason.
Yeah.
You know, and like this. So one of the things that's helped me to be in the box less often is the recognition of my preference to ascribe meaning to your behavior or your lack of behavior or what you said or didn't say or how you looked or didn't look. I mean, it's the nuttiest thing. And what I'm attempting to do instead is to replace that meaning, attaching meaning with curiosity.
Ooh.
Have I offended you in some way? And you're like, no, bro, we're totally good. Really? We're good?
So you're testing your assumption.
There it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
testing your assumption, getting feedback, and saying, "Oh, heck, I might have. That wasn't it at all. Okay, I can change that bubble."
Right, the cartoon bubble over my head.
Yeah.
Over my head. What do you think the bubble over my head is?
Right.
There you go.
Wow, it's
Wow,
powerful.
that's excellent.
I resonate with that because I think I try to be aware of the emotion that I'm experiencing in a moment and understand that is that's maybe not accurate, and so I get to choose curiosity with the other person.
Like, why am I feeling this way? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Like, curious about your own emotional response?
Almost
or something
setting
else?
aside that to
Okay.
say, like, okay, I felt something.
Yeah.
But just the awareness of emotion is a trigger to go, okay,
Ooh,
I felt
attention.
something. Pay attention.
Ooh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
First of all, I love that being curious thing. And even just, I'd say there's two things that stick out in my mind. The first thing is practicing high regard for other people.
Yeah.
I think I realized that most of the time, for most people, we're all doing the best that we can do. Unless there's like a serious, like, sociopath, like, you know, you're disconnected from humanity, you know?
Yeah.
Like, most of the time, we're all trying to do the best that we can do.
Right.
So if somebody's doing something, like,
They're doing it for a
I'm
reason.
assuming that their come from is good to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe I'm missing it regardless of how it's hitting me. That's the
that's
first
good.
thing that
Yeah.
I've been practicing. The second thing is the more that I choose to honor my impulses. This is crazy because I couldn't know this until I was on the other side of choosing to honor them.
Okay.
But the more that I choose to honor them, the better I notice myself feeling as I walk through life.
Yeah.
I feel more at peace in my heart. Both with I have more fun, I enjoy life more, I have better relationships with people that I care about because of this little thing that I'm doing. I just think, well, you know, ask my family member, can I do this for you because it just popped into my mind? Or better
Right.
yet, just do it, you know?
Right.
Or Nick hurt his neck the other day, and rather than try and jump into the front seat of the car we were riding in, and I just sat in the back because I knew that his hurt neck was going to have to be leaned over the side and be in the back of the car, and it's nothing to me, you know? And it just feels, the more you choose to honor that,
That's right.
the more I choose to honor that, the better I feel all the time. And it's not about feeling good, it just happens, you know?
I love it. And by the way, I also noticed in that example of Nick's neck that in the parking lot, you said, why don't we just pray right now? And so it was a blessing to me that you had an impulse, a thought, to make a choice to say, will I exercise that? You did it for the pure benefit of Nick's neck being healed or better. And it spoke to me. It's like, that's how I want to be. And that's how I want teammates and church members and the body of Christ to operate. Just imagine. I think my contribution to this conversation would be an increased interest in pausing to realize that other people's needs, fears, hurts, desires, wounds are as valuable as my own, valid as my own. And so I identify with them in a way I haven't before, or to the extent that I do now. And even as teammates, it gives me a chance to slow down and really connect with the person when I choose to just listen differently in the moment. And I wish I was really good at it, but I'm getting better.
You are.
Because it's more and more meaningful to me. And apparently, from the feedback, the data points, it's really meaningful to the people I interact with. And so that suggests I'm out of the box. Here's what I've noticed. When I'm in the box, I don't want to do that.
Yeah,
I don't-
you actually dehumanize the person.
I dehumanize so I can self-justify
There you go.
and stay in my box. And it's really profound to think how easy and often I'm able to fluctuate back and forth. So today's episode is, how do we sustain and
live
a
lifestyle.
staying out of the box?
yeah.
And is it even possible? And I think we're progressively, slowly, increasingly preferring to be out of the box. So let me,
I was just gonna say, I know this, might be putting the cart before the horse in some ways, and I just feel this overwhelming thought that I'd love to share with us, and that is that there, as you're saying, we're progressing towards it, and as I mentioned a few minutes ago, I've experienced our team as profoundly good at it, probably because this content is foundational to our team culture. There, as a result of me experiencing all three of you and our other teammates, and especially all three of us, right, all four of us right here, as just so out of the box towards me, which I would say it feels like you're in it for me, rather than in it for yourselves.
Right.
You would rather, I feel so comfortable opening all the things that are going on in me up around you guys, and I experience that amongst us all because I know that you're in it for me.
Yep.
And our team does different things that we never could do without that.
Yeah. I hear that as a culture, as a team, preferring to establish and maintain a safe team culture. Safe to be who I am, safe to know that I'm not going to be judged, safe to know that others care about me at a deep level, safe to risk being vulnerable, talking about stuff that isn't working so perfectly and so well, not like any of us have arrived. And so, John, I think part of staying out of the box is a commitment to providing, to be a safe person, to provide safe places for people to be who they are. Yeah, for one another. And how we long for churches,
Yeah.
I know it's idealistic,
Right.
but I also know you can't get that unless you try and practice and are attentive to the stuff going on inside you and outside of you. So let's kind of wrap this up by a really quick acrostic that might help us have a framework for staying out of the box.
Yeah.
It's in the book Anatomy of Peace, which is the sequel to Leadership and Self-Deception. All the concepts that we've been talking about are also beautifully told in a story that really sequentially is the genesis for the story that's written in Leadership and Self-Deception. So Leadership and Self-Deception was written first, and then they created a book, Anatomy of Peace, which described the backstory for the
like the
first
prequel.
book.
Like a prequel.
Yeah,
That's
cool.
like a prequel.
That's
exactly, yeah. And so in that book, they give the acrostic NOPE. Just say NOPE to self-deception, or say NOPE to self-betrayal.
Nope.
So the N represents the red flags. Notice when you're in the box.
When you're getting triggered,
Yeah, the triggers and tendencies, things that
start
catch you.
inflating your virtues.
Yeah, I think the biggest trigger is when I hear, that's like I've got this mastered and I don't. So when I start to complain, I just switch the analogy from others to myself. When I start to complain or I notice that I'm blaming others, there is almost 100% likelihood I'm caught, snagged.
You really,
I'm in the box. I have just betrayed myself, and my perspective is distorted.
You know
Yeah,
what I
Nick,
do
what do you
is
do?
I was just thinking as you're saying that, I'm like, oh no. Like how many times have I been in the shower replaying conversations and sliding into diagnosis mode
Yeah.
of their underlying issues
So that,
Yeah.
that what? So you could be,
so that I can declare myself as logical,
superior, maybe.
clear, certain,
right.
right,
Right.
You're all those things. You are.
Virtuous,
yeah, virtue.
But I go into like counselor diagnosis mode and go,
all by yourself.
no, about them.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I know, but I mean, by yourself.
Oh, totally. By
Yeah,
myself.
Yeah, I love it. So the thing is to notice when that's happening and say, oh, interrupted.
What's the O?
The O is I'm in the box, or something's been triggered, and the
O of the note.
the
Yeah.
N is noticed. You're
Yeah.
asking what the O is.
O of nope is.
Yeah.
Sorry, bro.
Yeah, no, I wasn't clear. O is opening up space.
Ooh.
I'm a professional communicator, by the way. So. O is opening up the space, meaning the recognition that I have the capacity to be in the box with some people, but certainly out of the box with others, which gives me hope that I can get out of the box with the person that I'm in the box with. Yeah?
Yeah.
So that's the O. Just open up that space. Believe in that
The possibility.
opportunity. O is opportunity. There's an opportunity to get out of the box. Anytime, every time when I find myself in the box. The P is kind of awkwardly worded, but I'll just tell you what it is in the book. It's ponder new possibilities. And they're emphasizing seeing other people as real people, humanize rather than objectify. Oh, I know why they're doing this because I've made up all these decisions about how they're going to be, how they're going to behave, what they're going to think, how they're going to respond. And so I betray myself knowing all this is made up in my mind, but it cancels my willingness to give myself to others or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the challenge is how can I humanize them and not objectify them?
Wow.
And then finally, we'll wrap it up with the E, and it's really to evaluate the relationship, evaluate my response, pay attention to what's going on inside me and how I feel about it, and then execute a plan that does the override. when I've betrayed myself because I haven't, is there an opportunity to come back around and actually do it? I'm already thinking of examples. So I'm reading a book by Henry Nouwen on, it doesn't matter what's on, and I'm having the thought, this would be a great book for Nick. I think he would really love this because of his journey, because of the insights, because of how Nick's wired. I just think it's for him. And so I have the thought, buy the book for Nick. So I haven't yet. So I get to go again. I get to come back around. I want to, and my heart's not at war.
Right.
And so I'm going to act on that. I have it with me, and I'd love for you to take it home.
Cool.
Love for you to just have the very book I read, because I'll get myself another one. But I want you to have that. But there's a perfect example. I get to evaluate and then execute on that idea. Act on it. Act on it. Imagine a culture where everybody is behaving for the good of others in their tribe, in their organization, in their group, in their class, in their church. I think it champions us to the highest level, and I think we approach what Jesus was talking about when he talked about us being one body. And so I guess we could move with that. I'm not sure how we get out of this.
Just say nope.
Just say nope.
I'm also going to walk away with, how many times have I read a book and I'm like, ooh, this person needs to read this book.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking so much about the other person, how they need to read the book.
Their deficiencies.
That I actually have to go back and read that paragraph again. Because I'm so focused on it for them. Not myself.
I'm good at that.
It's like when you're in church, right, and you want to go like this to your wife, like, I hope she heard, did you hear that point?
Sometimes I walk out of church with bruises, and I probably earned them.
So I remember how we were going to end it. Thanks for that pause. And that I'm not sure how well I was listening.
You're welcome.
I think I got called out on my distraction. But here's the way we'd love to challenge you guys. And it just comes down to simply honoring the very thoughts, choices, impulses, actions that you're prompted to achieve for the sake of other people. If we could harness that ability to be outwardly focused for the goods of others, I just think Jesus lived that way and modeled that and calls us to it. And I think this is part of how we get there. And so the challenge is simply to practice for 30 days. Staying out of the box by recognizing when I'm in it, by honoring the impulses, we'll be immediately out of the box with people we know and interact with every day.
So to make the 30-day challenge maybe a little more tolerable.
Got a little more teeth to it.
Pick somebody.
I like this.
A specific person in your sphere who more often than others tends to land you in the box. And for 30 days, see if you can live invulnerable to that person's provocations, whether they're intended, whether they're mean-spirited, whether they're accidental, or otherwise. So we want to bless you with that.
Yeah, before we bless, are we going to do that with each other?
What's that?
For 30 days? Try to remain invulnerable?
Yes, you'd be the perfect person for me to be challenged that way.
All right, you're on. Let's bless you guys. Go ahead. Yeah, I love it.
So Father, I bless you. I bless you, my friends. I bless you with the grace of God and the sensitivity of His Spirit as I attempt to live invulnerable over the next 30 whole days.
Help him, Jesus.
I need to go on vacation or something.
Aren't you?
Don't call me. I'm going to put do not disturb on my phone. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
That's it for our time around the fire today. Wow. The 30-day out of the box challenge. Are you up for it? I go back to some of what I said earlier in this conversation about not being able to know the impact on your own life of living out of the box until you've already done it. What might happen if you take us up on the challenge? I hope that you can see the happiness that the four of us have at getting to work together, especially on this project. That is in no small part because we as a team are committed to living out of the box. We so want this happiness for you and your team as well. I don't know what state your team is in today, and I do know that it takes one person to start living their life out of the box, to start the culture of living out of the box for the whole team. I hope that one person on your team is you. If being a part of this conversation has been helpful, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel. Feel free to leave any comments and questions down below. Last time, we got to hear about how self-deception can lead to collusion on our teams and some of the results of collusion in the workplace. If you missed that conversation, I would encourage you to go back and watch it. Next time, we're going to continue down this path of leadership and self-deception and talk about what happens when we get in the box towards God. This one is a doozy, and I can't wait to share it with you. For now, I would encourage you to spend some time with the Lord, inviting Him to show you who He's inviting you to take the 30-day out-of-the-box challenge with and jump in. Until the next time, may the Lord bless you and keep you and make His face shine upon you.